This was the first game that I have a real problem with for the Avs this year. Avs lose to the New York Islanders 5-4.
Artturi Lehkonen! Colorado has won the Stanley Cup!
It's not that the Avs lost the game, it's how they lost the game. There is never an excuse for blowing a 3-goal lead as an NHL team. Just can't do it. What separates this game from the Avs' other losses this season is could versus should. Sure, in all of the Avs' other losses, they could have won. They were in those games, but there are some things you can look at. They weren't playing very well. They just didn't have it that night. It was the second half of a back-to-back. They get blown out. A lot of things going into that. In this game, the Avs played well. They had a 3-goal lead, and they still lost. Or I guess I should say they played well for 35 minutes, and then they stopped playing at all. The first period was mostly a nothing burger. There were no goals scored, and in the context of it being a Sega Baba for both teams, that makes some sense. But it was still a bit concerning, because at that point, the Avs had not scored a goal in nearly 4 full periods, and not a 5-on-5 goal in significantly longer than that. So going in, it looked like it was some of the same problems they were already having. But that was just a mirage. This game actually solved a lot of the consistent problems the Avs have had up to this point in the season. It just brought up some new ones. The second period was great. The Avs would score 3 consecutive goals. Avs on the power play for this first one. This is just Mikko Rantanen at his finest, working off of the half wall, extremely patient, not looking to do anything impossible, but still incredibly talented. Just this simple working of the perimeter has opened up a ton of space for Mikko, and it's already hard for the Islanders to cover, and they ultimately decide to sag off of Mikko. So Mikko uses the space he's given extremely effectively, kind of catches the Islanders and puts their players into no man's land, and then does a great job of looking off this pass and just beating the man in front of him to get it through to Erod, and Erod unleashes a missile. The Avs' first 5-on-5 goal in something like 6 periods actually starts with quality defensive play. Nice saves from Georgiev, he's strong on his post, and the Avs dig out a rebound and are able to ultimately deflect the puck. Good D, not amazing D, but good enough job to stop dangerous things from happening, and Manson with great recognition to 1, find the puck, and 2, know that he's got a man up the ice. He does a great job hitting Mikko Rantanen there, and Mikko with a laser beam makes this one count. The least pretty of the bunch, you can see the Avs defense always activating. This is Devon Taves in below the goal line, so that's a thing to always keep an eye on for the Avs. It's McKinnon working the point, doing his thing, throwing those little wristers in from out high. Erod, the man in front, creates just enough separation that his stick is completely free and shows the hand-eye coordination to tip this one beautifully. Hard to draw it up any better than that. Your top producers are getting in there, getting involved, and Erod does look like he's finally warming up a little bit. It helps that he's really playing with the top line here, but still, you need those guys going. And this game should have been over right here. You have about half the game left with a 3-goal lead. It should just be over. The Avs could play their C-plus game from here on out in this game, and they should still win. Beyond that, those 3 goals going in felt like the Avs kind of finally broke out. They were going to get over this hump of being a little wishy-washy so far this season, go to 5-3-1, and never look back. It felt like the turning point moment, but it wasn't. That moment lasted all of 1 minute and 20 seconds of hockey before the Islanders got on the board. The Islanders gain the zone and then try a cross pass to the back door, but Comfort does a good job initially to get his stick in and break this up. Then there's contact and Comfort gets knocked over. I don't have a problem with this. He played the puck. It happens in hockey all the time. But it creates a situation where the Avs double commit 2 forwards extremely deep in the zone. You would like to see a forward rotate out here for one of your defensemen, so you're in your usual setup. That doesn't really happen, and the Avs get caught extremely deep. As the puck battle is going on, all 5 Avs players stuck in this lower near quadrant of their own zone. And that's going to cause huge problems once the Avs lose the puck battle. They have O'Connor out high to commit to the near point, so that's good, but their other 4 players are all committed to nothing. Because of that, Girard has to cheat up high because the forwards are behind the play, which creates a bit of chaos. And even then, the Avs have left the far point completely uncovered all the way to the hash marks. I mean, that's an insane amount of room, and while the Avs do sort of threaten that eventually, it's nowhere near fast enough because both forwards are lost, they don't know where to go, they're stuck behind the play, and they're not really doing anything. So all of that open ice gets used up, and honestly, even then, they don't challenge very much. Girard pretty slow to get over. They give the shot away here. They also give away a screen of Georgiev, and this is a beast of a shot. Avs just sloppy. And look, that's not a great play, but you can live with that. There's a reason you score 3 goals. You can afford to give one up here and there. It's not that big of a deal, and the Avs get out of the rest of the second period holding on to that 2-goal lead. Still a game they absolutely should and have to win. And the third period was just a complete dumpster fire. The Avs just turned the engine all the way off. Remember I said the second period of this game felt like a turning point? Seems like the Avs also felt that way, drank the Kool-Aid, and then figured they didn't need to try anymore. And you know, I can forgive the first half. Yes, the Avs do give up 1 goal, which I'll show you. Off of a faceoff here, Georgiev's going to make 2 good saves initially. Those are quality, but it creates a rebound off of a tip in front, and the Avs defenders just don't do enough here. We know Sam Girard is weak physically in front of the net, and that shines brightly here, but usually he's good at tying up sticks, creating battles in other ways, and he honestly just doesn't do anything here. He watches Parise whack at the puck repeatedly, and he eventually gets enough of it that it goes in. That defense is just AFK. And you don't love that, but again, the Avs have earned a lead here. They still maintain a 3-2 goal lead from that point. They have to close from here. They made it harder than it had to be, but you weren't panicking at that point. You even saw a decent bit of pushback. There were a couple of minutes after the game became 3-2 where it looked like the Avs were going to be okay and we're going to stay in this game. The Islanders completely took over the game, and I don't want to discredit them. They played well, but it was the Avs that really let them walk all over them. The game-tying goal comes off of a shift that's probably 2 minutes long, where the Avs not only play terribly, but they just give up on everything. I can't show you a highlight that does this goal justice because the Avs have been stuck in their zone for 1.5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes at this point, and they're all completely exhausted, and it's their own fault. 6+ turnovers and just terrible defensive play have led to total chaos. Again, look at this nonsense. There is no real coverage here. The Avs are just scrambling around on dead legs, hoping for something good to happen, and something good does not happen. In fact, something terrible happens as they all just kind of float around, generally near the slot. Again, not really covering anything. What is this guy covering? Nothing. What is Mikko covering? Nothing. What are these two guys doing? They're both covering the same guy. The only one actually covering something on this play is Sam Girard net front. So I guess credit to Sammy there, but this pass is coming through, slipping through McKinnon and Ranton into the back door, and this time Georgiev just doesn't have a chance on it. It's just not good enough from an NHL team. I gave them as many passes as I could in that game, but that shift is pretty much unforgivable. And if that's unforgivable, I don't even know what giving up another goal 22 seconds later is. So after tying the game, the Avs immediately make another mistake. Now, that's not great from Cale. You don't love that he gives up a 2-on-1 there. Yeah, I know there was controversy about the trip, but you just need better from your best players in this situation. So the 2-on-1 is bad enough, but Taves does a good job of taking away the pass, and Comfort does a good job on the back check to force a shot probably earlier than the Islanders would have liked. This isn't a great shot. This is going to go short side, and this is really the one that Georgiev would want back in this game. That would give the Islanders their first lead of the game, and the Avs would never see it even tied again. To get to your final score, the Avs would add an empty netter late, and then you would get this nice goal from Alex Newhook off of a faceoff, which you'll take, but is ultimately meaningless. This has to be the worst game of the season for Colorado. If it is, we probably look back at it and think, wow, that was a terrible game. Not too worried about it, though. If it's not, the Avs could be in serious trouble. Now, I have faith that it will be the former of those two options, but especially in the moment, I do not blame you if you are leaning into it being the latter. All teams have bad games like this. The Avs championship team last year did it. Every championship team in history has games like this. So from that standpoint, it's not terrible, but you aren't going to improve. Things will not get better if you're willing to accept games that go like this. I've been pretty darn lenient on the Avs with the start of their year at 4-4-1. I still have a ton of faith in this team. But we're coming up on games 10 and 11 here in Finland, and it's go time now. No more screwing around. Time to put the pedal to the floor. The encouraging part of that is, yes, despite this terrible loss, they cleaned up a lot of issues that they've had. Those are good. That's a good thing. The bad part is the issues they have in this game aren't the type that you can clean up with coaching sessions, with practices, with things like that. The Avs just have to put the effort in. You can't even blame talent for the loss here. The Avs are down on talent a little bit, but they were up 3-0 in this game. They had enough of it. They just shit the bed. There's no two ways around it, and it either ends up as a little bump in the road that we don't think about, or it ends up as the start of the downfall. Don't let it be the downfall, Avs. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. Head on over to thednvr.com for all of our coverage. I am Rudo, and I wish I was in Finland right now.